guys, I am the CHALL and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about Wigan Athletic, and yep, the financial crisis of football has begun. Wigan have entered administration, and guess what? The EFL, do they give them a little bit of support money to help them until the administrators help get them out? Do they give them a bit of support, saying we'll try everything we can to make sure you don't lose anything in particular? No, of course they don't. They give, apparently, according to good sources, BBC, Sky Sports, wherever, over the last hour or two, it's been reported that they're going to give them a 12-point deduction. Yay! The EFL are very glad to help you out. We're going to give you a points deduction and relegate you. We're going to help you out by demoting your club down the leagues. We're going to help you out, even though they've got it sorted, I'm sure, with help. They said they're going to help them out as much as possible. The people, the administrators in charge have said they're going to help them out and they're going to, help them with the finances. But oh no, that's not good enough for the EFL. They say they're going to sort it out, but oh no, let's give them a 12-point deduction to make it a whole lot harder for them. I can't stop thinking about how dreadful the EFL is run. Macclesfield, Bolton, Bury, you don't help them, you give them point deductions and they've expelled a team. How much is it going to take? How much is it going to take? This coronavirus is the reason why Wigan are in administration. And what do you go and do? You don't help them. You just give them a points deduction instead. That's not being helpful. That's just retaining the integrity of your flaming competition. It is absolutely outrageous. I'm sick to death of the EFL. My club's been through financial problems going into the millennium, so we've been through that. And the league didn't do anything about it, and we are all us fans that remember those times under Ken Richardson's ownership. Sorry, it's just as bad as Anderson. Don't you worry about that, Bolton fans. All those times under Richardson's ownership, we know how tough it was, and we know the league didn't do jack to help us out, and it's happened again. It has happened again. I'm going to read you a report from BBC Sport which explains it all over the last hour. So, according to BBC Sport, Wigan Athletic have gone into administration, becoming the first English professional club to do so since the coronavirus pandemic began. The English Football League have said Wigan will be deducted 12 points. The sanction will be applied at the end of the season if the Latics, 14th in the table, finish outside the bottom three after 46 games. Should Wigan finish in the relegation zone, the penalty will be applied during the 2020-2021 season instead. Yay! So they're just going to help. They're going to help them by screwing them next season, like Bolton with their deduction. Oh, that's fantastic logic, EFL. Well done, you. Now, Wigan have won all three of their league games since the resumption of the Championship season back on the 20th of June, and are 8 points clear of the drop zone with 6 left to play. Administration 1 month after a change in ownership. Oh my God, how much will it take for people to realise this is not a business, this is passion? Until 2018, the club was owned by Dave Whelan, who steered them from 4th tier to the Premier League in 2005, along with an FA Cup in 2013, the year that Man City lost their title after winning it after 40 years the previous season. He sold the club to Hong Kong-based International Entertainment Corporation in November 2018, and there was a further change of ownership in May when Next Leader Fund took over. Paul Stanley, Gerald Krasner and Dean Watson, a Begbish trainer, have been appointed as joint administrators. Krasner said in a statement that the suspension of the Championship season because of the coronavirus pandemic has had a significant impact on the recent fortunes of the club. However, when asked by BBC Radio Manchester how big an impact on the situation, Stanley said, "I don't think it's played a massive part in terms of the way the club's been run, because the club's been run very well. The funding that was due to come in from the owners didn't come in. I've had no contact with the owners and I don't know why the funding didn't come in. It might be coronavirus related, I just don't know." Stanley also confirmed that the administrators have control over Wigan's DW Stadium and training ground, as well as the club itself. Meanwhile, former Leeds United chairman Krasner told BBC Sport he is optimistic the situation will be resolved. He said, "We're dealing with some proper people here, and I have a lot more information on the situation than I did this morning. There are two objectives. Firstly, to make sure we get to the end of the season, otherwise the club is finished, then to find a buyer. All I can say really at this moment is we've spoken to the EFL and the PFA, the Professional Footballers Association. We've intended to speak to our local MP and also the supporters who have not yet managed to speak to yet. I've spoken to the manager, who of course is Paul Cook. I've been involved at other clubs, Leeds, Bournemouth and Port Vale, although I didn't have an additional problem of a pandemic. We need some money really quickly to deal with the situation. I think I've organised that, which will give us breathing space. I've put my neck on the block a few times, particularly at Leeds, but I've not lost a club yet, and I'm optimistic we will resolve this problem. The administrators say they have expressions of interest, while Whelan has said he will help in any way he can. He told TalkSport, I'll have to stick my nose in a little and have a look, see if I can find out what's caused it. In May, EFL chairman Rick Parry told the Digital, Culture, Media and Sport Committee that clubs were facing a £200 million financial hole by September and were stacking up creditors. And when matches were suspended in March and while Championship fixtures resumed on 20th of June, League One and League Two clubs voted to curtail their seasons early. Wigan are the first, but the big question is how many more clubs will enter administration when the full financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic has started to be felt. When interviewing Huddersfield owner Phil Hodgkinson in May, his bleak assessment was that 50 or 60 clubs could go bust. That felt to be extreme, however the brutal truth is that football is being played without fans at present. That means clubs such as Manchester United are losing $5 million worth of income per game. They at least have a massive TV deal to support them. As you go down the pyramid, the TV income reduces massively. Can League One, League Two and the National League really play with no fans? These are all full-time clubs, many of whom use the government's furlough scheme to shield themselves. But that option will not exist shortly. Wigan may not be alone. Well, there you go then. Wigan could be gone if they don't find a buyer. If they don't finish the season and don't find a buyer, they could go the same way as Bury. He is optimistic though, I'll give him his credit, he's optimistic. This is nothing to do with an ownership issue. This is nothing to do with that. He said the club's been run very well. Now, obviously there's two sides to every story, so you can't really judge for sure, but he said the club's been running very well. We're going to be enjoying a recent spell of good luck recently. They're 6 points outside the drop zone, no, 8 points outside the drop zone, sorry, with 6 to play. And of course, the coronavirus, we knew it was going to have a massive impact. But I'm not angry with obviously, I'm angry with the coronavirus because it's killing loads of people, obviously. But I'll tell you who else I'm angry at, and you know from the start of this video. It's the EFL. It's the EFL again. Because, yes, clubs are potentially going bust. I'm not emphasising this, and they're probably not emphasising this. 50 or 60 clubs could go bust. If this keeps happening over the next year or so, if this virus doesn't hold up, and we do things right, or we don't do things right in fact, then clubs will go bust. The game will lose its clubs. But you just know the EFL. They're just good. I swear to God, if 50 or 60 clubs go bust, they will just go, right, can Manchester United and Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool and Man City and Tottenham, will you bring your under-18s and under-23s teams into our league so they become the new EFL and let all the local teams, go bust and everything like that, and we'll have the youth academy playing in our league. That way we could get better TV deals, or we could get more money, or we could get better revenue. No! That is not the way to go. Wigan have been poorly treated by the EFL. They should have, and I spoke about this about Bury, I spoke about this about Bolton, and I spoke this about flaming Macclesfield just a couple of months ago, and it's happened again. The EFL should have said, right, we've got millions sitting in our bank account. You know what? We're going to give you a few million quid, just to keep you afloat, just to help you pay off some debts if you've got any, and it's extra money if you've got any spare when the new buyer comes in. The league should be helping. but they're just piling more pressure, because you know what could happen? If they don't get a buyer and they finish in the relegation zone, Wigan will have a 12 points deduction in League 1, which means they could go the same way as Bolton the next season. They could be relegated to League 2, and the manager could go, the best players could go to balance the wage books a bit, you know, to get some more money pumped back into the budget. They'd have to sell their best players, and Wigan would be transformed into another fallen giant. And you know whose fault it is? Yes, it's the coronavirus, and I blame that entirely, but I also blame the flaming EFL for not doing more. They didn't give them an ounce of money to support them. They didn't give them an ounce. They just gave us a figure to say, oh well, £200 million will probably be lost. 50 or 60 clubs could go bust. It's just a sad story. I'm sorry, but there needs to be change at the EFL. There needs to be change. Because unless the league, and I've said this 1,000,001 times before, and I'll say it again for those of you who don't quite get it. They may not be your club that you're running, but they're in your leagues. Championship, League 1, League 2, those 3 leagues are yours, EFL. They are yours. So you should still help them. And you know what? I think the Premier League should help them out. I mean, come on, Wigan are a former Premier League club. Surely they should help their fallen neighbours out. But, you know, this is coming from a league where they gave the chief executive a £250,000 bonus just for good work. You know, every Premier League club was told to pay a £250,000. You know, do you see the figure from United and what they're going to lose? They're going to lose £5 million in revenue deals. £5 million! That £5 million could be transferred to help a struggling lower league club stay afloat until a new buyer comes in, or until more money is pumped back in the club, with fans back in the stadiums and money pumped back in for shirt sales, for programme sales, for food sales, drink sales. I don't give a flying one. Any kind of thing that comes back into the club next time the fans open in the stadiums. You know, that extra £5 million could keep their debts afloat. It could keep them above water, just. But the EFL, again, just do nothing but give them a points deduction, and it'll be another club in League 2 in 2 years' time if they don't get a buyer. But like that guy said, he's optimistic they can find a buyer and they can resolve this whole situation. I swear to God, I hope they find a buyer and they can look straight into the EFL's eyes and say, you did BS, and we've sorted it out ourselves. We didn't need you. We've sorted it out ourselves, us from the goodness of our own heart. Because the EFL clearly has no heart and soul. Clearly. Clearly they don't. Clearly they don't. You know? It's sad. It's sad. I blame the EFL. I blame the coronavirus pandemic. I blame the incompetence and the lack of heart from the people that are running the leagues that should help your teams out. You know, the EFL, actual company, they've probably got millions sat in the bank, and they're just, you know, keeping hold on to it, you know, or bringing some extra TV deals from BT Sport. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting saying the same thing over and 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 over. You tuned into this point in the video, you think I sound like a broken record that's just skipping and skipping and skipping. Because I'm saying the same thing over and over again and over again. But who listens? Many different fans have put out videos like this. For different clubs, for Bolton, for Bury, for Macclesfield. Save our club. Those were the types of videos. Save our club and a message to the EFL. But I tell you what, here's my other message to the EFL. Now this is where I'm not going to criticise the EFL. This is where I'm actually going to help them out. EFL. Let's look past what I said before in this video. Let's clean slate. And let me give you a couple of advice for when you judge the new buyer for Wigan Athletic. Number one, make sure your fit and proper persons test is a fit and proper persons test, not a £1 buyout test. You know, don't make it a test where, oh, you've got a quid, go on, buy a football club, ruin its legacy. You know, make it a fit and proper persons test. Call it a fit and proper persons test. Because right now it's just a £1 buyout test. It's not a fit and proper persons test. You know what? You know what a fit and proper persons test is, right? You know what it is, right? That is a test where you look at the background of this person or the company or the people in the company separately, or every single part of it. You look at the people, you look at the company, and you look at both. The background, the present, the future. You look at past successes and past failures, and you judge it. Now, if the failures, the failed businesses and the buyout businesses that they had to buy out to save debts, if the bad stuff outweighs the good stuff, then they're not a fit and proper person or group to run a football club. If the good landslides the bad, then they are a good person to own a football club. It is simple freaking maths. Simple. Absolutely simple. Now, following on from that test, the second thing you need to do, keep a watchful eye. You know, sit in the trees like a bloody bald eagle. Keep your eye on every single one of your clubs. And if a club has been bought by a new person who's gone through a proper fit and proper persons test, keep a watchful eye over them. Make sure they're running it great, 24/7. Because once you're at the top of a football club, who's going to be watching over you? Because it's clearly not the league at the minute. You know, they're just letting the clubs do what they want. And the bad owners are just sitting there like, okay, so I'm top dog, everyone else is below me, the league doesn't care, I will just ruin a football club. There's nothing they can do. And if they take me to court, I'll just get some top lawyers and buy myself out of it. I'll just run away from the problems. Oyston, Anderson, Richardson, Bacchetti. There's just 4 examples of owners from the 90s to present day that have ruined football clubs. It's happening now, by the way. EFL, if you're watching this, you do realise it's happening now, right? Sunderland. Where's their new owners? Why aren't they in yet? Wigan's getting a new buyer now. That's 2 clubs out of probably a good few that are still needing new owners that are actually fit and proper to run a freaking football club. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying the same thing 2 months later. Like I said, it's like a broken record. It's like I'm skipping. You know, I'm on those old-fashioned bloody record players and I'm skipping and it doesn't work. Because it's from the 1930s and it never worked for 50 years. Oh my god. I need to take my hat off. I'm absolutely roasted. But, just... please, don't ruin another football club by incompetent running of your leagues. Keep a watchful eye, improve the fit and proper persons test, and just do better. Because I don't want Wigan to have the same fate as Bury. I don't want Wigan to go through what Bolton did, what Macclesfield are going through, what Sunderland are going through. I don't want that same fate. Charlton, they're in a championship relegation battle, fair enough. They're in the second tier. You know, they're one step away from the Premier League. If they survive, then they can go ahead next season and try and fight again. But they can't. Because, of course, they've been through this ownership situation before and they're still going through it now. Run your leagues, improve your ownership test, and just stop this from happening again. Stop it from happening again. And then, maybe, the TV companies might say, well, hang on a minute. They're actually running a decent set of leagues here. All the teams have got great owners. It's very competitive. It's very, very tight. I'll have a slice of that humble pie. Because you just know, once you run your leagues properly, once you oversee your teams and the owners in charge of those teams, and you see the work they're doing, and if the owners are good, keep them in. If they're bad, kick them out straight away. No second chances asked. You know, and I said it before, it's not an ownership situation with Wigan. But I put it down to the EFL, and I want them to keep a close eye on who's buying Wigan Athletic. Whoever the new buyer is, I swear to God, if it's that £1 guy from Bury, I've already forgotten his name already. Oh my God, if it's the Bury guy. Oh my God, if they let him back into the EFL, I am just going to travel to Wigan myself, screw social distancing, and I'm just going to force him out the door with the Wigan fans, because I have had enough of clubs being mismanaged by bad owners. We went through it as Rovers fans. Blackpool have been through it. Bolton have been through it. You know, Thogdad told me all about the Ken Andersons. He told me about the new takeover and how it's so much better for the club. And they're going to build something, especially with the new manager that came in, Ian Evatt. You know, Bolton Salona. You know, he's moved on from Barrow Salona. He's bringing in Bolton Salona next season. Good luck. You're going to get promoted, I'm sure. So Blackpool have been through it, Bolton have been through it, Leyton Orient have been through it, Macclesfield's still going through it, Sunderland are still going through it, and now Wigan's joined in the hunt for a buyer that's going to get no help from the EFL. And if they don't, Wigan's going to go the same direction as Bolton did under Ken Anderson. Great management of your leagues, EFL. Very good management. You deserve an A star and an A grade on your test. Oh my God. Thank you for watching this lively video. You guys are probably going to comment down below and say, why are you overreacting? It's because I care. Me and other fans across the fan base of the Football League, the Premier League, I don't care whatever league. We care about football. It's not a business to us. It's a sport. It's a passion. It's a desire. And I want football to keep going for as long as possible. But it comes back to that debate that football is just a business now. For people to make a few bob out of it and things like this. And again, this is something I forgot to highlight earlier. The gap between the Premier League and the rest of the leagues is ginormous. And this is why the Premier League needs to be criticised, because I think the Premier League should help them out. You know, Wigan and Bury, they're sort of, you know, in this round about the same area. And I just, I don't know. I really don't know how to go on anymore. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I'll be back later. I was thinking about reviewing Brighton Man U. I might save that for tomorrow, because I think I'm too angry to carry on with any more videos on this channel today. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. My name's the CHALL. Goodbye. Sort it out, EFL. Sort it out.